this is John, host of the Prepared Mind channel. Thanks for tuning in on this. This is kind of a special news update. It has to do with the CIA being exposed by WikiLeaks on their Vault 7 release. Now, a lot of people are just talking about this from the news as if it's big news. By the time I get this out, you guys are all going to know about it. What I care about is what this means. What does it mean to us as Americans? What does it mean to us as preppers? I'm going to tell you right now, I see this as, first off, congratulations for exposing the government one more time about lying to us, about being sneaky, about tricking us, about doing things and building systems to control us without our approval or even our knowledge. I have had it. I am sick to death of people pretending it's 1950 and that a wiretap takes a judicial warrant that's been properly served under sworn affidavit. No, it doesn't take that anymore. They have blanket permission and they use technology against us. The government does, whether it's the CIA or the NSA or the Department of Homeland Security or the IRS or any private firm that has access to us through our electronic devices, like the little electronic phone I'm using right now to record this. It is time to stop pretending. It is time to stop being Pollyannish about their ability and their willingness to invade not only our privacy, but to invade our very lives, to influence us, unbeknownst to us. Right? I'm done with that. I was done with it years ago, and part of this channel, the purpose was to expose things like this. Not for the mere purpose of exposing it or discussing it, but to talk about how it's going to affect us and how it leads, how it will contribute to shit hitting the fan. Number one, WikiLeaks leaked that the CIA has lost control of. That is, the information, the applications, the software is in the open. It's in the public domain. Once it's in the public domain, it goes into the dark domain. What I'm talking about are viruses, malware, hacking keys, backdoors, the ability to get into systems, every system, right? Hooked into everything. The CIA was, and they lost control of that. It is now not only in the hands of the CIA, the NSA, and the DHS, it's in the hands of children who understand hacking. There are kids in high school and probably grade school that are hacking at a level today that professionals and insiders were hacking at 10 years ago. These keys, these tools that were left in the open are now in kids' hands. Kids who are not responsible, kids who have no idea the amount of damage they can do, right? The suffering they can cause by screwing around with this stuff. But let's never mind the accidental usage by kids. Let's look at the intentional use by subversive elements within our own government. How about subversive political activity by those who hate America? Communists, socialists, anti-American, anti-constitutionalists. When they get their hands on this stuff, what can they do? Not only can they rob your house, right, via your computer of sensitive information, they can melt your computer down from the inside. They can plant information on our computers. Right? They can blackmail people. They can use extortion against individuals, government agencies at the local, right? That is the city, county, then the state and the federal level, maybe even internationally. This can be done not only from our own soil, but from remote areas, that is, other areas of the world. Not only do we have to worry about subversives within our government, but we have international or foreign governments that are going to have an interest in hacking in and taking a peek around. Now they have the CIA's tools. The best cyber tools known to man are in the open. Never mind foreign governments. How about terrorist organizations? Right? You can have a terrorist organization full of 1,000 near retarded Islamic extremist terrorists, but it only takes one brain among them that understands these tools and how to use them. And the mayhem that can come from this is off the charts. And I'm going to go right to the top. They can crash our banking and financial system with a few keystrokes. They can crash Wall Street. They can crash our power grid. They can go in and wipe out computer programs and systems within the bureaucracy that are all hooked into the networks, the internet network. The risk we face from this is tantamount to an all-out nuclear war. And speaking of that, is our nuclear arsenal hooked up to the internet? Or is some clown in the government going to tell me, oh no, there's a firewall and it's impervious to any software, right? Even the software the CIA has secretly developed and not told anyone about? Are they sure of that? Can that firewall be jumped, right? Can a router speak to an electronic device that is not hooked up to the internet but is within Wi-Fi range? Is that possible? Everything is possible. As preppers, as people who are watching with a realistic perspective on what is going on, what do we take away from this? That is why my video is on here. I just presented how our world can be affected instantly. It could happen tomorrow. I don't know how long this shit's been in the open. It could be next week. It could be at the end of the month or the end of the year. This could come out in a continual basis of attacks, a continual flow, not just from one source, but from many. Any disgruntled millennial with the ability to hack can come after us as individuals and us as people. So what do? What is our safeguard? We just learned via the WikiLeaks Vault 7 release that there are no more safeguards. Your banking information is now basically public. Everything in your life is now public. Your toaster's settings are now public. And by public, I mean available to anyone who gets this information. And it won't be hard to get. It is now in the open. The CIA didn't tell anyone about it. They didn't warn us. We're all exposed. What do we do about it? What can you do about it? All you can do is prepare. We are once again left, right, being told that the government has bought a bunch of crap and we're handed the bill. That is, we are ultimately responsible and going to suffer for what has been done. This isn't a case of an accident at the CIA. This is beyond gross negligence and a violation of national security. It is a violation of the Constitution. It is a violation of our rights as individuals. It is a violation of national sovereignty for this information, this skill level to be not only developed and then used, but now released. There literally needs to be trials and heads to roll. And while we're on top of that, Trump has said he was hacked. His phones were tapped. Who knows what else they were doing in an effort to understand and get under his skin and get behind his campaign in a negative way and influence it and preempt what Trump was going to do. Was the CIA involved in this? Damn right they must have been. How can they not? How many other people were watching and listening? So when they said, Trump, where's your proof? WikiLeaks just handed a bombshell of proof to the media. Will the media sweep it under the rug? Will they give a shit? Right? When are we the people going to be given an accounting of what is going on in the government? I mean, for Pete's sake, what do you do? How much more of this shit do we have to take? How do we disarm these fools in charge and replace them? Oh, they're so competent. They're brilliant. Look at what they created. Yeah, but they've got the mentality of a child. Their competency level is that of a dunderhead. They're the greatest fucking fools I've ever heard of. Right? They're up there with the idiots in the chemical labs making weapons and then going, we didn't think it would escape. We didn't think about that. We didn't think about all the lives and how it'll ruin and destroy things. We just did our job, which was making this destructive technology, talking about weapons and chemicals and biologicals and shit. Now we've got it in the cyber world as well. We've had it there. And now it's loose. And unlike the chemicals and precursors and other agents, which rely on physical attainment and then implementation, this is electronic data that has been released. An entire file, everything the CIA had with today's communication speed, it can be relayed 1 billion times in less than a minute around the planet. The fucking genie is out of the bottle. The genie is out of the bottle. What are you going to do? Just going to sit in your house and watch Dancing with the Stars? You're going to get off your fucking ass and get prepared. I'm sick of these retarded fucking clowns coming on here going, yeah, you keep talking about the economy collapsing, John, but nothing's happened. I go, really, nothing's happened? Don't they watch every day? Aren't they watching and listening to the reports? Not just op-ed, but the real reports. It's coming down. We're looking at war happening, right? We're looking at it. What if there's a cyber attack and it's mirrored or bounced off of North Korea in an effort to blame them? Do we bomb North Korea because they're using some super sophisticated CIA tools that makes it look like North Korea did it, but it was really done from some fucking kid's basement in Alabama? We just don't know anymore. And the idiots in charge, and I'm not talking about the Trump administration, he's barely gotten his wings spread so he can fly a bit. I'm talking about the rest of the system that is corrupt and disgusting. And they are so high and mighty and so fucking smart. Look at the situation we're in now. Centralized authority, oh yeah, great fucking idea. Centralized communication and data storage, great fucking idea. Right? Here we are. There's the bill. Now it's time to pay. Yeah, there's no threat to Wall Street, the power grid. There's no threat to the banking system. Yeah. This will never happen, John. Yeah. What do you mean go to war? Yeah, no one's preparing for war. Yeah, the economy's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, that's what I keep hearing from idiot trolls. We're in deep fucking shit with this. I don't care about the CIA. Let heads roll there. I care about us, the people. Not only the people of the U.S., but the world. What chaos is going to come because of this? That's what we need to ask ourselves and think about. And I'm hoping you will talk about it in the comments section. You guys are great for that, for exposing things that I don't think about. You all have your own ideas and your own minds, and I invite you to comment. Trolls, you can go fuck yourselves. Just get lost on this one. You guys are goddamn morons. And I mean that seriously. If you can't think and see what this is going to do, how this is going to be used against us, systems, unless they're created after exposing what the CIA has, every system from today backwards until it is manufactured to resist the software systems that the CIA has released, for years we're going to be paying for this. For years. I would be shocked and surprised. Shocked and surprised if nothing of a catastrophic nature doesn't come from this. Can they open floodgates on dams? Right? Hack in, open them up, and then destroy a system from afar? Causing massive, massive flooding in a nation? How about the whole world? What are the limits of this sort of stuff? Destroying recorded wealth and banking systems. Not just stealing it, but how about just destroying it? How many lives will be lost if the power grid is shut down for an extended period of time because some terrorist now has a tool, thank you CIA, that they can use to transmit or terrorize us from afar? How many false flag events can be started from this now and then blamed on other countries or other groups? You know, we're fucked. And idiots are going to sit out there and naysay this. Heads need to roll, literally. People, one, need to be held accountable. And then defenses and fixes need to be put in place ASAP. This is huge. Not just from a, hey, we got the CIA attitude and mindset. I'm talking about the real consequences of this. As preppers, you better beware. You better be ready. You better stay frosty. And that's what my message is. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Give this video a thumbs up. It needs it. All videos exposing this and talking about it need to be thumbs up, because everyone needs to realize this is not playtime anymore. It's adult time. It's go time. And we need to be ready for it. Ready for it. Thank you to everyone who has sponsored me personally and through Patreon. Thank you for everybody who has subscribed and made this channel a success through their comments and your own personal efforts. Thank you very much for the compliments. Thank you for your support. And God bless America. We're going to need it. Semper Fi.
Hello friends and subscribers, this is Prepper Princess. It's been 2 weeks since the collapse happened. It was an EMP. Either we don't know who did it, or the government was just telling us that they didn't know who did it, and they don't want us to know. But it's been 2 weeks. All of the electricity is off. We don't know when it's coming back on or if it's coming back on, and I'm just really glad that I prepared. So I haven't had to go into my stockpile yet. We did, of course, go through everything in the fridge, in the freezer. A lot of people had those barbecues using all the meat that they had left in the freezer, but luckily I dehydrated most of mine and turned it into beef jerky. So we are all set on meat/protein. And right now what I'm doing is eating mostly through the garden. Now there is severe rationing going on in this household because we don't know how long this is going to go on. So I'm just going to show you what we have for breakfast and lunch. This is 2 meals. So here we go. Nothing works. Nobody was prepared for this. Oranges, luckily, are ripe right now. They're in season, and they're everywhere. It's so weird. The collapse happens and nobody's even eating their fruit off of their own fruit trees. It makes no sense. I can think of at least 3 or 4 neighbors who aren't even touching theirs. It's crazy. Okay, hold on. Got my propane burner set up because nothing works. Oh, I hear chickens. Maybe they're having an egg. Luckily, we're not starving. I'm pretty hungry, and Molly's having a hard time adjusting to eating so little, but we're making it. We're doing okay. Let's see what the chickens got for us. Hopefully 3, hopefully 3. 2. Okay. Maybe somebody will be nice and lay another egg later. Huh, Bundles? Gonna lay another egg? Yeah? Believe it or not, we've been rationing the chicken feed too. We've been giving them less of that and give them more free time to roam. And what I've been doing is digging up these dirt piles, and when I dig them up, the chickens come over and eat the worms, so they get a lot more protein that way instead of from their normal stuff. Okay, I got some onion over here. Don't need a lot, but it's gonna go really delicious with the eggs. And then over here I've got a gorilla salad, or gorilla lettuce. Looking forward to springtime so I can eat a little bit better. And yes, they are bug eaten, but you know what? I gotta eat. I don't care about perfection right now, that's for darn sure. We even gotta ration this. Pretty soon I'll be using dandelions instead of this type of lettuce, but right now I gotta make do. This is between 2 people. This is what we get for breakfast and lunch. Dinner is usually canned food because I don't want to go into my stockpile until I have to. All right, I'm going to cook this stuff up. Be back in a minute. Hello friends and subscribers, this is Prepper Princess. It's been 2 weeks since the collapse happened. It was an EMP, either we don't know. Hello world, hello YouTube, hello everybody. This is Prepper Princess. This is week 3 of the economic collapse. Luckily, it's been raining like crazy here, so we haven't had to go to any creeks or aquifers to collect water to filter and bring home. About a week and a half after the collapse happened, our water stopped running. And luckily, I had a toilet? I can't even think of the word right now, I'm so tired. A composting toilet set up for that sort of situation, and we are using spray bottles to keep ourselves clean. Spray bottles and towels that are scratchy, like not soft towels. We haven't been able to do any laundry, and it's more than likely that we're not going to be able to for at least another 2 weeks. One of the strange things that I keep doing is making my bed every day just to make myself feel like I'm a part of a normal civilization. The electricity also went out pretty much after a week and a half, and been using, you know, nothing's been working, been using propane and sometimes charcoal outside in order to cook our food. It was really strange. The first week after the collapse, of course, the riots started in Oakland, and on the first night of the riots, the police officers, I believe I heard on the radio, it was 23 of them had been killed in the riots. So what they did is they enacted martial law in the town of Oakland, not here. But after they enacted the martial law, the people in Oakland continued to riot, and what they didn't realize is that all of their constitutional rights had been taken away. So the police or the National Guard or the Army or whoever it was that they called in to take care of the riots started shooting people. And the numbers are always different on the radio, but from what I understand, over 100 people were killed, and that cooled down the riots pretty darn quick. We have no access to ATMs. The ATMs pretty much stopped working on day 1. So there's no way to get cash, and even if you do have cash, there's nothing left in the stores to buy. The seeds have all been taken. It took maybe 2 days for all of the stores in my town to completely sell out of everything from dog food to Gatorade to fresh bread to flour. For a while there, maybe 2 weeks, you could go and pick something up at the feed store, you know, a 50 pound bag of wheat or barley or cracked corn, something like that. The problem was that we had run out of gas and the gas stations stopped working. Credit cards don't work. ATMs don't work. You know, gas stations are out of gas. So people had to find a way to transport those heavy things. And believe it or not, nobody had a, like, even if somebody had a wheelbarrow, they didn't have the air pump to pump up the tire to go to the feed store and fill up the wheelbarrow full of food. So the only people who were able to get food who lived in the local vicinity or had a working wheelbarrow and pump. We are keeping ourselves armed at all times with fully loaded weapons in the house. We haven't had any issues in this neighborhood as of yet, but we just want to make sure that we keep things safe. And one of the strange things, you know, this is week 3 and a lot of people are starting to get sick. I don't know if it's from not filtering their water, drinking contaminated water, or not disposing of their waste correctly, but there's been a huge breakout in some sort of sickness that nobody really understands. Of course, all the hospitals shut down. There's no doctors to tell us what's going on. Luckily, Molly and I have been doing everything correctly that we trained ourselves for being hygienic and taking care of everything. I'm hoping that in the next week or two, I can make a trek out to the river just to wash my hair. See how greasy it is? It's so greasy and gross. And one of the things I'd love to do is wash my bed sheets, because they've, you know, it's been 3 weeks. I wash them every week usually, but no electricity. So I can do it by hand, but we can't really spare the water right now because we don't know how long the rain is going to last, and we have to be really careful with every single drop that we use. And we luckily stockpile at least 2 months worth of dog food, so my dog's not hurting for anything. And we are supplementing her food with rice, so that 2 months should last out to 4 months. So we're just pretty much in the beginning phases of this. We do expect it to continue to go on. There's no talk of any electricity being brought back up. It was an EMP, economic collapse, pretty much everything that you could think of that happened all at once. So we're just sitting here, no electricity, reading books by candlelight at night, maybe playing a board game or two, trying to keep busy. We can't plant any crops yet because it's just mid-February. It's going to take at least another month, and the rain has to stop in order for us to be able to plant our food. So I will be going fishing shortly to see if we can get any meat stocked up, or fish stocked up. Maybe make some fish jerky, smoke it. Haven't decided yet. We have to first think about that after we catch the fish. It is called fishing, it's not called catching, so we have to make sure that we have a supply before we can do anything. So things are a little bit scary right now. I'm trying to keep a positive attitude. The riots there's no riots here. The riots were in Oakland, and like I said, those constitutional rights of the rioters went away as soon as they declared martial law, so they just started killing people left and right. So I think everybody's pretty much scared of more rioting, and there's no gangs in this area. So I do know that a lot of people in the neighborhood are bugging out or taking off, abandoning their properties. They no longer have a mortgage, but they have no way of getting any food or water. I don't know where they're going, so I can only pray for them and wish them the best. All of my neighbors in the surrounding area are still here, so we're trying to take care of each other. I'll bring them some eggs once in a while, and they will allow me to take water out of their swimming pool, but luckily everything we've got is full right now, so I don't need it. But I did take a rain check on that for the springtime, so I really hope that everything gets better. Do what you can with what you got. Prepper Princess out.
Hey everybody. Let's take a minute and just think about where America's heading. You know, before the election, when Obama was in there, we were in free fall. I mean, America was really screwed up. Trump's in there. He's trying to fix things, and people's not letting him. You know, they're throwing obstacle after obstacle after obstacle on him. America is heading to some type of war. You just look around. It's heading there. Let it be a race war. Let it be, you know, Islamic terrorists coming in here. Let it be a border war, you know. Let it be you know, a civil war, a revolutionary war, you know, if these Democrats and dim reps, dim rep is a Democrat pretending to be a Republican to hurt the country. And there's a lot of them in there. But say the Democrats and the dim reps um, try to do a military coup on Trump and it fails, or if it succeeds, you know what's going to, how much blood's going to be spilt because of that. I mean, there's so many scenarios you can think of that could lead America into a war, and it's kind of freaky. But yeah, I sit here on watch videos and stuff like that, different people, and it's, you know, I'm patriotic. You know, I got red, white, and blue blood. You know, I'd stand up and defend this country in a heartbeat. I wouldn't fight for the politicians. Hell, I wouldn't fight for the local mayor here in my small little one stop sign town. I wouldn't fight for the politicians. I wouldn't fight for the churches. I wouldn't fight. I would fight for America. But with that being said, if something happens, are you guys willing to stand up and fight? I mean, there's a lot of guys on here, a lot of Rambos. Oh, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. It's not like the movies you guys watch. It's not like the little video games you guys play. You know, you got to really stop and think. You know, are you willing to grab your gear, kiss your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your kids goodbye, knowing that might be the last time you ever seen them, and go off and fight? You know, the Minutemen, the militia done that in the Revolutionary War, done it in the Civil War, done it in the French Indian War, done it in the War of 1812. You know, it's a lot to consider. And if a war does come to America, it's not going to be a conventional war where, oh, this rule, you can't do this and you can't do that because we got rules. Rules are going to be flushed down the commode. You know, there's not going to be no rules. It's going to be medieval guerrilla warfare. It's going to be bloody because every side, they could be multiple sides. You could have, you know, it's just not going to be a white black thing. It could be multiple fronts, multiple groups fighting. You know, one day you're allied with this group and the next day you're its enemy. Then you're allied with this other group and a week from there you're their enemy. It's got you got to think and consider, are you going to walk out and leave your family to basically make it on their own? Because if that happens, you know, if war breaks out and everybody goes to war, there's going to be some cowards that's not going to fight. They're going to go around taking the easy way. You know, they're going to find out, oh, the dad's gone and the brothers are gone, or the uncles are gone, you know, or the granddads are gone out fighting. It's just the wife and kids there. They're going to, these gangs and these marauder groups, they're going to come in, they're going to swoop down, and they're going to raid, pillage, loot, rape, murder. So say you do go off to fight and you come back to your home, you find your family's dead. Then what? You know, I'm not trying to sound like a butt. I'm just giving you, because it happened in the Revolutionary War. It happened in the Civil War. You know, the homesteads were raided and looted and burnt and pillaged, and the women were raped and the kids were killed, by both sides of the fences. Union soldiers done it, Confederate soldiers done it, Revolutionary War, the militias done it, the English soldiers done it, the Indians done it. That's just a fact in war when there's no rules. And the war it's coming, there's not going to be no rules. But a lot of guys, you guys don't think about that. You don't think of the dark side. You're in your happy-go ramble stage of, I got all my body armor, my semi-automatic the M16, and I got my new Kevlar helmet. I'm invincible. I feel sorry for you. You guys. You guys ain't gonna make it a damn block. But it's a realistic question. Would you guys walk out your door knowing that could happen to your family just to defend your ideals or your beliefs with going off to war? Are you willing to roll the dice and take the chance that don't happen to your family? Now you're going to get guys on here, oh, we're going to be in a group. Okay, you might be in a group of 15, but what happens if there's a group of 50 marauders or gang members come in? That 15 ain't going to hold off 50. Especially if it's women and kids. So, it's something to think about. America's being torn apart. It's definitely having an impact on a lot of people. It's getting bad. In some areas, it's worse than other areas. We're heading for something. I don't know what it could be. Hopefully, nothing happens. But you're going to have to stop and think about the dark side of things. What could happen if you're not around? Now, people's going to say, oh, you sound like a coward. Nah, I'm not a coward. I just use my brain. It's not going to be a video game. It's not going to be a movie. Bad things are going to happen to good people. And that's what people don't realize. They think bad things are only going to happen to the bad guys. Who's the bad guys? Your side might think you're the good guys and the other side's the bad guys. The other side might think they're the good guys and your side's the bad guys. It's not a cut and dry. That's what a lot of you people don't understand. I don't know if I'm getting my point across, if I'm explaining it right or anything. I don't know. But I just put the question out there. Could you go out and fight knowing there could be a chance that something would happen to your family while you're not there? Just look at the research. It happened in the frontier days. The man was gone. The man and the sons, the husband and sons were gone out fighting Indians or fighting the British or fighting the French or fighting the Spaniards or fighting the Confederates or fighting the Yankees. And they come back and their home's been burnt to the ground. Their wives been killed and raped. Kids have been killed. It happens. Happens all the time. Look at Africa. They're constantly killing, wiping out village after village over there. It's going to be a hard decision for a lot of us to make. And me personally, I love America. I love the red, white, and blue, but I don't know if I could. You know, before I was single, you know, full of piss and vinegar, didn't have nothing holding me down. And now, you know, I've got a family, I've got grandbabies, you know, I don't know if I'd be willing to risk it to go out and to fight. Now, granted, if the fight comes to the front door, oh, all gloves are off. It's come hell or high water, you know. To me, I'm going to be the devil in these other people's eyes, because it ain't nothing going to hold me back from destroying them, to ripping their guts out and hanging them with their own intestines from a tree. You know, when they come messing with mine. But to go out, I don't know. What do you guys think? You know, oh, I'm going to probably be called unpatriotic. I'm going to be called a coward. I'm going to be called whatever. You know, I've been called so many damn names. It's not even funny. It's not, you know, and I've had God thrown at me so much. You know, God's going to do this. God's going to do this. God's going to, you know, show who's the racist, going to wipe out the racists. Everybody's racist. I don't care who you are. You can say you are, you're not, you're the biggest. Everybody's a racist. Because if it don't fit you, you say stuff and you're racist. Everybody's a racist, you know. But I had one guy respond, you know, that God's going to protect his people. And like I told him, when the Romans were feeding the Christians to the lions, did God come down there and save him? Save the Christians? Nope. They became, the lions ate them and they became lion crap. You know, they were no saving them. You know, we made this mess here in America, and God's setting this one out. He's up there saying, hey, you guys made the mess, fix it or deal with it. So if you have faith, yeah, have faith, but you're going to have to protect you and yourself. God's not. So I'm going to probably get a bunch of hate and comments on that one, and it just goes to prove my point. If you don't agree with what other people say, you're a racist. So before you cast the first stone, look at yourself before you pass judgment on other people, just because they're speaking their own opinion. So, but tell me what you guys think. You know, tell me if this video made sense. You know, I've just got a lot of stuff on my mind, and I don't know if it all got entwined in the video, or if it made sense. But if America went to war with itself, would you or could you leave your family knowing if you come back, you might not have a family to come back to? People don't think about this. They don't think about the bad side. They think about, oh, the glory and the patriotism and the thrill of combat and how it's going to feel good. A lot of people are going to get a big surprise when that comes. They're gonna get a big surprise. That's all I got to say. But anyway, guys, tell me what you think. Leave a comment below, and hope it opened your eyes. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Hi everybody, this should come as no surprise. U.S. preliminary tornado reports in 2017, the highest in 5 years. The preliminary number of tornado reports in 2017 is well above average through early March. Through Monday, the preliminary number of U.S. tornado reports is running above average and is the most at this point in 5 years. NOAA's Storm Prediction Center has logged 299 preliminary reports of tornadoes, more than double the 2005 through 2015 average of 133 reports typically received by March 6. The last time the nation had this many tornado reports through the first week of March was in 2012, when there were 304 preliminary reports. Definitely some earth changes going on. I think God's trying to tell people, better wake up. Interestingly, despite the active start to 2012, the total number of tornado reports over the entire year of 1,116 ended up below the 2005-2015 average of 1,402. That active year continued into April before dipping below average in the typical peak months of May and June, and the number of tornado reports trending even further below average as the year continued. So I think they're hoping that this year will have a dip in tornadoes, but I don't think it will. I think 2017 is going to be a year of disasters. 4 years prior to that, 2008, also got off to a fast start. By March of 2008, there were 398 reports of tornadoes, more than both 2012 and 2017. This includes the January 7th through 8th outbreak, with 54 confirmed tornadoes in the Midwest, making it the second largest January tornado outbreak on record at the time. While the following month featured the infamous Super Tuesday outbreak on February 5th, while 24 states held primary elections. 87 confirmed tornadoes were responsible for 57 deaths in the Southeast. The number of tornado-related fatalities, 58, reported in February 2008, was the second highest on record for any February in the U.S. Hopefully people are waking up and either making tornado shelters or have a plan. In all, 2008 ran well above average in tornado reports for nearly the entire year, finishing with 2,194 total reports, almost 800 reports above average, the third most active May on record, which included 460 confirmed tornadoes, contributed to over 20% of 2008 tornado reports. Preliminary number of tornado reports in 2017, black, that's that one right there, versus average, which is the line below it looks like, which is dotted or dashed, and each year from 2005 to 2015. One reason for the far above average first 2+ months of 2017, as the persistent warmth of the Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean Sea. This helps to generate plenty of warm, moist air into which low pressure systems can tap, providing fuel for severe thunderstorms to develop. Records going back to 1891. In records dating to 1891, this is the first year Gulf of Mexico sea surface temperatures never dropped below 73 degrees, when averaged across the entire Gulf. As of March 6, sea surface temperatures over the western Gulf were above average by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. There is reports from this year that crustaceans normally found only in Mexico are now being found along of Oregon. So the trending continues. Put your thoughts and comments down below. Bookmark my site. I'll keep you up to date. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.
Oh, power flashes! Brian! Brian, tornado on the ground! Tornado on the ground! Tornado on the ground, Marnie! Brian, I have power flashes. I have power flashes. Turner, this is going to be right out the right side, a little bit at 2 o'clock. Power flashes. This is a tornado on the ground, south of Green Valley, moving toward Oak Grove.
Many people in the Midwest are waking up to extensive damage from dozens of tornadoes. Rain flooded roads and strong winds and sent debris flying. The dangerous gusts flattened buildings and toppled trees. More than a dozen people were hurt. At least 29 possible tornadoes were reported in Kansas, Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri. Stephanie Kaiser of our affiliate KCTV is near Kansas City at the Johnson County Executive Airport. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning. This airport was hit hard by the storm. It damaged several planes, smashed the windows of nearly 20 cars, and chipped the paint. And it forced officials to work overnight to clear the runway and fix a gas leak. Fierce winds, rain, and tornadoes tore through the Midwest overnight. In Oak Grove, Missouri, east of Kansas City, tornadoes ripped doors off their hinges and sliced roofs clean off their walls. At least 10 people suffered minor injuries. To the north, winds up to 50 miles per hour sent debris flying, smashing in garage doors, shattering windows, and downing power lines. Matt Pinkerton hid in his basement.
Just like bang, bang, and we got a couple of the boards that actually went through the wall of the house. It was pretty scary.
The storm flipped over planes, damaged hangars, and smashed car windows at the Executive Airport in Johnson County, Kansas.
Wow, look at the dark on that side.
In Minnesota, a tornado touched down north of Minneapolis, damaging homes and knocking out power to thousands. And it wasn't just the rain and winds that caused problems.
There goes my car, bro.
The storm also dropped hail the size of golf balls across the region.
A deadly haze is the cost consequence the UK capital suffers in its role as Britain's paramount political and financial centre. It's here, down at ground level, that people pay the price. A King's College study found more than 9,000 people in London die prematurely every year due to air pollution. According to Client Earth, an environmental lobby group, London's air often breaches international law.
Air pollution is impacting on our lives throughout our lifetime. So from when we're in the womb, it can cause premature births. As we're growing up, children are growing up with smaller lung capacity, which is going to affect their health into adulthood. And then as we're adults and older people, there's an increased risk of developing things like cancer and also the problems with respiratory and heart conditions.
According to figures from City Hall, toxic air at more than 400 schools across the capital exceeds legal limits. And the cause of what's described as London's air pollution crisis? In large part, drivers and their vehicles on the capital's congested roads. The boss of a local firm making protective masks says London traffic is never ending.
Well, of course, London's a medieval city with a 21st century traffic challenge, and they've done a lot of work in terms of having cycle schemes and congestion charges here. But as you can see today, even in the middle of the day, it's still very congested right here in the city centre.
London Mayor Sadiq Khan is to impose a $15 penalty on polluting vehicles, what they're calling a toxicity charge. It'll raise an estimated $3 million a month, but even Sadiq Khan admits it won't be enough. He's calling for new clean air laws.
In one respect, London is a victim of its own commercial and economic success. The challenge facing the government is for how long it'll put the economy before the health and lives of Londoners. Richard Bestick, CGTN, London.
A flash flood warning for Maui has expired, but the wet weather is not over yet. The Kona side of the Big Island is getting hit with rain now, and Maui could see a repeat tomorrow.
I'm told 7 people had to be rescued this afternoon because of the heavy flooding. Fortunately, everyone is okay, but it did make for some scary moments. Firefighters say several cars got stranded in floodwaters on South Kihei Road, and 4 people were found stranded on a bridge. One woman also called for help, saying she was about to be swept away in her car. Fortunately, Good Samaritans helped to get her to a safe place. A Kihei resident we spoke with says all of the rain from the mountains triggered a flash flood behind her home.
It is kind of wild. It's like I said, it wasn't even raining. We have gray skies, but it's not even raining. And I just kind of heard it first. And like I said, maybe 3-4 times a year this happens in the gulch behind our house. And this is a big one. We've only ever seen it this full and this wild. In 2005, there was a huge flood where it wiped out houses up in Kula. It wiped out the highway up in Kula. This is as big as that one.
And all of South Kihei Road reopened a little more than an hour ago after floodwaters receded, but continue to drive with caution. And again, Maui could see more rain tomorrow. Alexander Zanes, KHON 2 News.
We wanted to update you on the very important weather story of Tropical Cyclone Inawo. You can see some of these images that have been coming in from Madagascar. Very intense wind, very intense rain. It has come ashore, making its official landfall around 11 a.m. local time on Tuesday, so that's local time there. Now, it turned out that this thing really overachieved. It was the island's strongest landfall in 13 years, 145 mile per hour sustained winds at the time of landfall, equal to a Cat 4. You can see the winds have come down a bit, but it's the rain that still is the huge concern, especially for where it is striking across northeastern Madagascar. So it's weakening, and it'll continue to weaken as it interacts with the terrain, but again, they are really taking a lashing. Certainly a lot of rainfall, power outages that could last for days, possibly longer. Here is a look at the rainfall amounts that are anticipated. So we've still got a ways to go with this storm. Some locations anticipated to pick up more than 1.5 feet of rainfall.
For the second time in a week, the David Posnack Jewish Day School is evacuated due to a bomb threat. The story developing right now in Davie. The school evacuated as soon as it received the bomb threat a couple of hours ago.
And the on-site Jewish Community Center is on lockdown as well. CBS 4's Kerry Cott is there live for us with the latest developments. Kerry.
Yes, we just got an update from Davie Police. They told us that they searched the grounds here. No bomb was found and all clear was given, and the students will be coming back to school here. But for the second time in just 8 days, parents received a disturbing text message about a bomb threat at the Posnack school. And just like last week, as Davie Police swept the school campus, parents are searching for answers and praying that their kids are okay. Now take a look at this video from Chopper 4 this morning. The Posnack school was evacuated. The JCC on the same campus was placed on lockdown. We're told there was a non-specific threat called in sometime this morning, and that the person who called in disguised their voice, but did have some sort of interaction on the phone with a school employee. A second text that went out shortly after the first one around 10:30 said that all children were safe and urged parents to avoid coming to the campus. Now, we are learning there have been threats made at other JCCs and Anti-Defamation League offices across the U.S. today, including in Maryland, Milwaukee, and upstate New York. This has been a pattern across the country and across Florida. In the beginning of this year, parents are frustrated and rightfully upset.
Tensions are escalating between North Korea and Malaysia. Both countries have banned each other's citizens from leaving. This comes amid fallout over the murder of Kim Jong-nam. The North Korean dictator's half-brother was killed by a nerve agent at Kuala Lumpur airport last month. There's growing suspicion Pyongyang ordered the attack. Both North Korea and Malaysia have expelled each other's ambassadors as well.
And the New York Times reports the White House offered to continue federal funding for Planned Parenthood if the group stops providing abortions. Planned Parenthood's president, Cecile Richards, responded yesterday on Twitter saying, quote, "We won't back down in the face of threats or intimidation." Jan Crawford is in Washington with the politics behind the funding battle. Jan, good morning.
Good morning. So, in its media campaigns, Planned Parenthood emphasizes it provides general care and testing for women's health. And it says only about 3% of its work is abortion services. But the organization says it will not stop performing abortions, even if it loses federal funding that makes up about half its annual revenue.
East Asia's stability is hanging in the balance after the US began deployment of a controversial anti-missile system in South Korea. The move came a day after North Korea fired 4 ballistic missiles, breaking international sanctions. The system in question is called THAAD, which is short for Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System. It's capable of intercepting missiles within a range of 200 kilometers, and the first components have already arrived at the US airbase near Seoul. Reports say it could be operational as early as April. Though the system is designed to prevent threats from North Korea, it's also worried China, as Emily Sue explains.
Both the U.S. and South Korea insist the main aim of THAAD is to deter nuclear and ballistic threats from North Korea. But Beijing is not convinced, and they have good reason not to be. That's because THAAD comes with a powerful radar that has a detection range of 2,000 kilometers, meaning that the system would give South Korea, a U.S. ally, the ability to peer deep into China and potentially extract sensitive military information. Evidence of how angry Beijing is can be found in this editorial, published by state-backed China Daily, which compares THAAD's deployment to the Cuban Missile Crisis. And here's what the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman said on Tuesday.
China firmly opposes the United States and South Korea deploying the THAAD anti-missile system in South Korea. The United States and South Korea will bear all the consequences arising therefrom.
Nobody knows if China will respond to THAAD militarily, but some experts warn the real danger of THAAD is that it will provoke China to build more advanced weapons and accelerate its development of missile technologies. With China's firm opposition and deteriorating ties with South Korea and the U.S., it looks like THAAD could do more damage than good in the region.
Disney's live-action version of Beauty and the Beast is stirring controversy overseas. Russia considered banning the kids' film because it features a gay character. One lawmaker said the film promotes propaganda of sin.
But instead of banning the film entirely, Russia's culture ministry slapped an adult rating on it. People have to be 16 years old or older to watch it in theaters. You know, there's a theater in Alabama that sort of did the same thing. They said that they wouldn't run it. But it doesn't come out until, I think it's, what does it say? What did I write down? March 17th.
Oh.
They've already done more than $120 million in pre-sales.
Because people want to see it.
Yeah.
Or they want to make a statement.
Either way, it might actually help them. They're going to do all right.
Well, we start the program with some breaking news. The CIA has lost control of the majority of its hacking arsenal, which could fall into the wrong hands around the world. That's according to the latest revelation from WikiLeaks. Well, for more on this, we can now cross live to our correspondent in London, Polly Boyker. Polly, good to see you. Now, what implications might this report have?
Well, they're calling this leak Vault 7, and they're claiming that this is the largest ever leak of secret CIA files. According to WikiLeaks, the CIA has lost control of the majority of its cyber weapons, this arsenal of cyber weapons that it has. Things like malware, viruses, Trojans, and various remote control systems. So all the tricks that spies use in order to survey their targets. And what WikiLeaks is saying is that the CIA arsenal of these tricks has already been leaked and circulated among former government hackers. And WikiLeaks knows this because one of those former US government hackers has passed on parts of this dossier onto WikiLeaks. The files contain so-called weaponized exploits, so methods for spying on anyone, anywhere, through familiar devices, ones like Apple, Google, and Microsoft phones. Even the iPhone that runs the presidential Twitter account could be subject to these vulnerabilities. And also, in conjunction with MI5, it appears in these files that the CIA has created a special type of malware that can infest Samsung smart TVs, which all have covert microphones that can be turned on through this type of malware.
So WikiLeaks seems to have access to documents that talk about various surveillance programs within various intelligence agencies. A lot of these documents relate to programs about capabilities to hack into simple devices like television sets at home. So it's just a rude awakening for all of us that, as an industry, we have a lot more to do in order to secure our sensitive information, but also for us as consumers, to understand the privacy implications of simple things like internet-connected devices. Everybody likes to have a smart TV at home or a baby monitor or cameras at home, but what that could lead to if that technology gets in the wrong hands or if it's not appropriately secured is of serious concern. So there have been public disclosures about everything from cars being hacked to baby monitors being hacked. I think ultimately, as consumers, we've got to be aware of the risks and mindful of where we're purchasing our technology from. I think anything that's connected to the internet is hackable, is something that can be compromised, and ultimately you've got to be mindful of where you want your devices placed inside of your homes, offices, and across your personal life.
Καταστροφή. Μια λέξη. Καταστροφή. Δεν μπορούμε να παράξουμε. Το κόστος παραγωγής είναι υπερβολικά μεγάλο. Δεν μπορούμε να παράξουμε προϊόντα για να μπορεί να είναι ανταγωνιστικά στην αγορά και να τα πάρει ο καταναλωτής.
Firefighters are trying to stop deadly wildfires burning out of control across several states. The governor of Oklahoma declared a state of emergency in 22 counties last night.
The fires have killed at least 6 people and scorched more than 1 million acres. They are burning in parts of Texas, Kansas, parts of Texas, Kansas, Colorado, and Oklahoma, 4 states there. David Begnaud is near Woodward, Oklahoma, with how the weather is fueling the flames. David, good morning.
Gail, good morning. The stench of ash is overwhelming and the cold air is overpowering. It's at 45 degrees right now, but it feels a lot colder than that. The temperature is helping in the firefight. They are raging about 20 miles to the north of us. I wanted to be here to give you the personal perspective because, Gail, as you drive through this rural area this morning, you might not even see a home like this that is burned to the ground. You can't even tell what was left or what was of this home before it burned. The garage, it's still burning. There are embers in the back part of the property which are still burning 24 hours later. The people who have been affected by these fires make their living in agriculture. They produce the food that we eat, and they have been decimated. In fact, there was a 63-year-old lady who had a heart attack and died just trying to get her cattle out of the way. The massive fire has scorched more than 700,000 acres along the Oklahoma-Kansas border. Traditional ground fighting tactics are failing, says Drew Daly with the Oklahoma Forestry Service. The majority of the area burning is rural, but what's making it so hard to contain?
Access is difficult in some of these areas. We have, extreme amount of canyons as well as just heavy grass fuels and dormant brush.
These fires are devastating farming communities in America's heartland.
We have another one trying to spin up right now, a little fire-nado.
3 people died in the Texas Panhandle rescuing cattle at a ranch. They include Cody Crockett and his girlfriend Sydney Wallace, and Sloan Everett, a married father of 2. In Clark County, Kansas, fires forced up to 12,000 people from their homes. More than half the county burned. That's an area about twice the size of Chicago. At least 30 structures were damaged.
We just felt like you'd get out of here alive.
Back in Oklahoma,
my mom and I pulled up to our house last night and there are people on the roof with water hoses.
Cattle rancher Jolynn Easterwood says it's too early to know exactly what her family has lost. What would you say to people who say this is just wide open land?
Do you like to eat? Because this is where it comes from. This is the heart of it. This is the cattle that are in the grocery store. This is livelihood. This is people's life that's on fire.